Hello, friends and beautiful people. It is Kathryn, Elevated Consciousness Coach and 5D Visionary. I forgot who I was for a second. Starting a little bit later than I wanted to, but hey, I'm here. And those of you who are interested in what we're doing here today, opening a time window into a parallel reality. Yeah, this is going to be kind of cool. We're not only going to have a discussion about how this happens and how this works and why it's important and why it's a simple but very useful tool, but we're also going to have a guided experience. We're going to have a guided experience with this today. So I'm going to see who's going to jump on. Leave it open for a second, see what happens. You may want to bring some water. I just want to make sure that I'm live in the group. I don't know why it doesn't show me. There I am. Okay. So I'm going to collapse that. I am in the right group. So hello, say hello if you're here. We're going to do this today. This is fun stuff, you guys. So have some water. You're going to want some water. You're going to find that very, very, very helpful. I'm going to collapse some things here so I can be on the same page. And I'm watching this here so that I can see. Hi, Mary. So I can see comments. I can't always see them on my phone. Hi, Chantal. And, you know, if you're watching this later, you're watching the replay, it's still good stuff in the replay. Put in hashtag replay. Hello, Annie. So I wanted to do this because I wanted to give you guys like a little sneaky peek at what Timelines Expanded Masterclass is all about. And for those of you who don't, maybe you're not familiar with me completely. There's a lot of new people in this group. Maybe you've never followed me before outside of this group. So a little bit of background about me. So I am a 5D visionary and elevated consciousness coach. I do coaching, personal coaching, spiritual mentorship, but my wheelhouse and what I really love to do is teach group programs. And my signature group program is Timelines Expanded Masterclass. I've taught this 3 times. I'm going to be teaching it the 4th time in February. This is a very comprehensive and intensive 11 module, soon to be 12 module program on all things time. The nature of time itself, how it works, how humans create time in 3D, how it creates consciousness loops, how 3D time works, how time works beyond the confines of the 3D time-space matrix, how we work with tools, let's just say beyond the confines of 3D to kind of bridge our consciousness to understanding zero time or spiritual time, which is time that exists in 5D dimensional realities and beyond. This is not only a course that has a whole lot of discussion, but pretty much every single module, I think every single module at this point has a tool. It has something that is very practical and applicable in your life right now to bring you the benefits of working with time, playing in the time fields, and working beyond 3D time. And the benefits of it, let's just say, of working in time fields beyond 5D, 4D and beyond, basically. When you do that, because you're still in a body, you're in density, the results and the benefits of that become very tangible, and they end up showing up in your density here in 3D. So you're working with tools that are 5D and beyond technology, but you're getting the benefits of it in real-time 3D time-space reality, if that makes sense. So, you know, this course is not just academic. It's not just, oh, this stuff is so interesting, boop, put it on the shelf, think about that later. No, the way I teach is very hands-on, and the tools that I give you are very tangible, practical, applicable. You can even go to my YouTube channel and look at the video, How I Bend Time, and you can too. This is a real simple tool. This is one of the things, just one of the things that I teach in this very comprehensive 11, soon to be 12-week group program. We're going to start live again in the beginning of February. Why am I talking about this now? Because you're like, February, that's a long time off. Here's the thing. I have taught this program, as I've mentioned, 3 times before. Every single time I teach it, people have come to me and like, oh my God, I wish I had the money for this, or I wish I knew about this, a couple of months ago so that I could have planned and maybe set time and money aside for this. So this right here, this little sneaky peek at what this program is about, is to give those of you who have been saying to me and have messaged me and sent me emails, God, I want to get in this program. It sounds so amazing, but I don't have the time. I don't have the money. Well, here's the thing, folks. You can start planning now. And this program is always available as a self-study program, and you can get in there now. And anyone who ever joins the self-study version of this program is automatically pre-enrolled when I go live and teach it, okay? So that being said, right now, it is a less of an investment now as the self-study program, but you can get in, get your feet wet with this material. You're gonna wanna study this material 2 times, 3 times anyway. So you get your hands on this material, but it's going to be freshened up, and there's a new module that's going to be added when I start teaching it the first week of February. But if you sign up now, you're already pre-enrolled. There's a payment plan and there is a single payment option. When this gets kind of officially announced and I start doing all of the promos for it and really pushing this program, which will be the first week of December, the price is going to go up. It's going to go up at least $300. So get in here now. If you are wanting to be part of this live program, joining the self-study version of this, you're pre-enrolled and you're ready, you're set to go when we go live in February. And also, anyone who's ever been in this class so far, I mean, this will be the 4th incarnation of it. Anyone who takes this class with me, you're welcome back every single time I teach it, because that's how I roll. That's how I like to teach. And there it is. So that's why I'm doing this so early. I want to give you guys this foundation of, you know what, you'll get a feel for what it's going to be like in this program. And you have an opportunity now to get in there at a lower investment price than when I officially start promoting it the first week of December, which is right around the corner, by the way, which is crazy to me. So there's my little plug. But I also think that, and I'll often share tools from this course because, I don't think of it as just solely proprietary information. It is, in the way that I teach it, and I do honor the value of what I teach. However, I've shared many times with you guys here in this group, and if you follow me in my email or my YouTube channel, I've shared with you collapsing timeline statements. I've shared with you timeline activating statements. So this is another thing that I'm sharing with you that, yes, is part of, this is kind of a truncated version of what you get in the program. Hi, Amy. But you'll get a real good idea of what it feels like to, work in the time fields and receive those tangible benefits in your life now. And one of the greatest ways to be able to do that is to work with parallel realities, work with parallel timelines, and understanding, and this kind of gives you a level of understanding where it could really land with you and really make sense for you, that everything is now. Only in our very confined and contracted perception of reality, that is the 3D time-space matrix, do we believe in the ideas of past, present, and future. These principles, these concepts only exist here and a little bit in 4D, in the lower hubs of 4D consciousness. Beyond that, there is only 0 time, which is spiritual time, which is to say that time speeds up, time accelerates in dimensional realities beyond 4D. And that when we do that, we collapse things. We collapse specifically the buffer of time. Let's just say when you have a thought, you think of it as a thought or idea, like, wouldn't it be interesting if, or whatever. And there's a buffer of time, let's just say, before that thing might manifest, okay? That collapses as you move into 0 time. That collapses and dissolves as you move past 4D dimensional reality. So it's really interesting to work with time that's already collapsed into a possibility, or a reality, in other words. And you can kind of step through a time window and access that now. So this is a really fun tool to be able to play with. And so I'm going to pull up something here. So have you noticed, I'm just going to ask this because I've got like 8 people here, maybe more, I'm not entirely sure, but how many of you here have had a different sense of time, let's just say, in the last, maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe even the last 1 or 2 years, you have a sense of maybe time collapsing or time accelerating, or there's moments where time slows down, and maybe time, overall, when you kind of pull back and look at the big picture of that, maybe you feel that time doesn't have the same resonance in your field or your psychological sense of time anymore, because we have 2 ways of experiencing time all the time. We have psychological time, which is our sensed time, how we sense and feel time. Mary says yes. And then we have physical time, which is clock time, linear time, or being on a continuum, right? And when we work with timelines, we're working with a container of time that's much like that, but kind of blends both of those things of clock time, concepts of clock time, along with psychological time. Time is very fluxy these days, fluxy. I love that, Amy. I'm going to use that word. I'm going to steal that word. So yeah, you kind of have this different sense of psychological time. And maybe you have more of a sense of cyclical time, or things moving in loops or continuums that aren't on a straight line, but kind of feel like a closed loop, or things are cyclical, right? That is a very feminine sense of time. What we have used to, mechanize, break down, measure time into, seconds, minutes, hours, days, etc., calendar time, clock time, is very masculine. That sense of linear time, which it goes on a continuum, that's a very masculine sense of time. But here's the thing, folks. We don't have to abandon one to experience the other. What we want to do is be able to blend, especially as we're in this 3D earth space time reality. We are being invited to learn how to blend spiritual or zero time, feminine time, cyclical time, with physical, linear, rational, mechanized time. And when we do this, what we are doing is bringing our whole manifestation template, because every single one of us, everything has a manifestation template in terms of how it creates a reality around itself. You are creating a reality around yourself. And when you have the masculine and feminine parts in balance, what you're doing is restoring full integrity to your manifestation template. So everything you create, every idea, every physical, superficial manifestation, etc., will be in balance. The more you learn how to bring those kind of, brain hemispheric realities into integrity and balance, but also in the physical, bringing the masculine and feminine traits of things into balance, you'll find a seamless way of manifesting things as you go forward. So this exercise, this guided experience here today, is very much a play in balancing the masculine and the feminine, because we're going to work with linear time, and we're also going to learn to work with psychological or cyclical time, zero time. So who's excited? This is going to be fun. So what is really, really interesting about, working with psychological time, working with time fields beyond 5D, is we move beyond who we think we have been. Largely, who we think we have been, or how we've compartmentalized ourselves into this box of, I am this personality, or I have this identity, etc., is either an extremely truncated version of what is possible, or the entire you, or it's a falseness, it's a lie, or there's been blatant omissions about what is possible for us. And why is that? Because we are incredible, powerful creator beings. We have the ability to create beyond what we've ever been told or even dared believe was true. And we're just starting to see glimpses of this now. We're just starting to work with this now. And that's why working with time, working with the time-space fabric, learning to manipulate that, navigate it in different ways, is key to moving into ascended consciousness. You really can't, until you have a grasp of what it is to work in the field of zero time or work beyond clock time, you can't fully ascend, because there are codes written into your DNA that activate, okay, let's just say as you move into 4D, 5D, dimensional reality and beyond. So you can't take those confined structures that are relegated only to 3D with you, okay? Do you understand that? Do you get what I'm saying when I say that? So this is why I talk about time so much, because you have to abandon somewhat some of the rigid structures, the inflexibility that you think of as 3D clock time in order to work in zero time. And you have to abandon some of those structures, not lose it entirely, because as long as we're in a physical 3D body, we have to be able to work with 3D time a little bit. But we don't have to be confined to that only. We get to play with so many things now, you guys. I mean, we're really living in an amazingly, incredible time where so many potentials, so many possibilities and ways of being are just right at our fingertips. If we're willing to play, if we're willing to let go of some of those structures that have defined our entire reality. And I know that's scary sometimes, because that means we have to unpack who we are. And that's never a pretty thing. However, that is an essential part of moving into ascended consciousness. You're going to have to unpack who you are. You're going to have to investigate. You're going to have to turn that rock over and see what's underneath. You're going to have to dismantle those structures, those paradigms that you've allowed yourself to be defined by in order to become more, in order to expand. Do you guys get that? And time is one of those structures. And that is why I absolutely love teaching about time. That's my wheelhouse. That's what I do. That's my zone of genius. And this is just a glimpse into how comprehensive it is to work in the time fields and how comprehensive this course is that I teach, because there's really nothing like it. I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there is nothing like this program. And anyone who's here, who happens to be here watching today, who's in that program, if you can back me up so people know I'm not talking smack, there is no other program like this out there in terms of talking about the nature of time, the nature of timelines, how they work, how humans create time, how we bend time, how we quantum jump time, how we merge time, how we, expand into time as consciousness beings. This is something that it's so delicious to learn this stuff. And if you are one of those people that are fascinated like time, like I am, you're going to absolutely love this program. So this guided experience, what are we going to do? This is kind of a play in quantum jumping time and merging timelines. Okay. So when we think of past lives, okay, we've all maybe, have had readings. We work in the Akashic records. Maybe we are doing Reiki. Maybe we're doing, some shadow healing of past selves. Maybe we're doing DNA activation, like my friend Tammy does DNA activation too. We are privy to certain things when we work on ourselves or we work with other people, where we have a sense of a past life representation. We think of it as before, but in fact that's, misunderstood, because everything is now. There is no past, present, or future when you move beyond the time field of 4D, which is still kind of a fantasy blended realm that, brings in some things from 5D, but brings in a lot from 3D at the same time. 4D is that kind of limbo where we're learning how to play and kind of establish a new foundational realm of being before we can go into 5D. We're still playing with the 3D time-space matrix there. It's a little different. It's a little more loosey-goosey too. It's not as inflexible. And we're still kind of working with the idea of past, present, and future in 4D. But once you get beyond that dimensional reality, there is zero time. In other words, there is only now. Everything is now. So when you think of a past life, what it really is, and a better way to say that, is a parallel timeline of you where you are another aspect of you. You made another soul choice to be this person and work with this time space, or work with this identity, this personality characteristic, this group of people. And we've made many soul choices, okay? I mean, many soul choices. And we're making many soul choices all the time. When you think about the number of thoughts that you have in your head throughout the day, each one of those thoughts, if it branches off into something maybe that's different than what you were thinking a second before. That potentially creates another timeline or realm of being, because we are creator beings and we are creating realities from our thought forms all the time. Okay? And they become stronger if those thought forms become a belief. And that reality of our potential timeline becomes even bigger if we act on that belief. And that potential of that timeline becoming our now dominant timeline becomes exponentially greater if all of our focus, attention, our actions and behaviors, beliefs, attitudes, opinions, and etc. are focused in on that timeline, or just say container of that experience. I don't mean to blow your mind here, but this is giving you a little bit of a foundational understanding before we can go forward, okay? And this is really important. So when we are thinking of past lives, we're not thinking of something that came before. It's actually some aspect of you that is just exploring another potential reality. You guys get that? Does that make sense? And this is very, very powerful, because whenever we're working with creating realities or manifesting something different, becoming something else, becoming another person, becoming or bringing in a different aspect of our reality than let's just say we've experienced before. And we're doing this all the time. Whether we're conscious of it or not is another story. But whenever we're doing that, we are working with universal laws. And it's really understand that when you're working with universal laws, there are some of them that are immutable. In fact, 12 of them are immutable. That means that anybody, anywhere, anytime, in any galactic cosmic reality, it's the same law for all of those beings. Okay? And what's really, really interesting is that when you think about you're having a different thought about maybe you'd like your reality to be a different way. Maybe you'd like to bring in like a different skill. Maybe you'd like to have a different talent or ability, more psychic perception, or, maybe you'd like to have more money, or, maybe you would like to, have the experience of something in this lifetime, like of traveling, being a world traveler, being someone who's well-heeled and well-seasoned and traveling all over the globe and feels comfortable with that. Maybe that's a fantasy for you. So anytime you are creating that, just in the mental matter, which is fourth dimension, of thought and working with that level of fantasy, you as a creator being are creating a potential timeline, meaning you are opening a time window where that potential does exist. Because even though you are not that now, okay, universal law states that, to every energy there is an equal and opposite counter energy, okay? Everything in the universe is in balance. So to the degree that anything or everything is not, there is a degree that something is. So translate that to you and your, let's just say, realm of thought. So anytime you're thinking about something that you are not, but you would like to be, that universal law would dictate that there is an equal energy exchange of that, a counter to that somewhere else. And so what you're doing when you're working with an exercise like this is opening that time window where that somewhere else or someone else or something else exists, taking a peek at what's going on. And then it's almost like remote viewing. It is actually remote viewing. You go into that potential reality. You are in your, let's just say, higher self or God self manifestation of you that allows you to do this, because you don't want to do this from your ego self, because all kinds of weird effed up stuff happens when you are entering into this kind of work from your ego self. And you get into a whole world of attaching to outcomes and not manifesting for the highest good of all. You want to be in that place where you're in the God self so that you can make a God choice when you're in that space. And the God choice is simply that is what is aligned with your highest and best good, what is also in alignment with the highest and best good of all, and with the least amount of resistance for all involved. So when you're in the God self manifestation of yourself, when you're looking into this space, peering into this potential, you're more likely to make choices going forward aligned with the God choice. Does that make sense? When you're in the ego self doing this work, you're probably not going to make the best choices. And, you know, you're not going to be aligned with unity consciousness either. And when you're playing with time fields beyond 5D, it's really, really important to be in full alignment and integrity with unity consciousness. That way, you know, you're ensuring the God choice, highest and best for you, highest and best for all involved, and with the least amount of resistance for all involved. And you're also basically ensuring, guaranteeing that your manifestation show up super quick, and that there is, you know, a sense of infinite gratitude and blessings when you bring this in. So important. So this is how I teach that. And every time we use a tool in the Timelines Expanded Masterclass, we're always going into the higher self manifestation of us, and we're always calling forth our personal Merkaba. So your Merkaba, however you say it, is a tool of protection. And imagine it as like your personal starship of protection, boundary protection. It helps you navigate along with your God self and helps you navigate towards those God choices when you're peering, glimpsing, remote viewing potential timelines in for yourself, and then how you would take that information and go forward. So it's like this guaranteed like navigation starship where you're in the highest level of integrity and you're exploring in a place where maybe you haven't been before, but you feel safe, you feel protected, and you are fully supported. Because no one can mess with your personal Merkaba, your Merkaba. No one has the ability to program that or do anything to that. That's yours and yours alone. So that ensures you that when you're, you know, playing in realms that you haven't played in before, and maybe on an ego level you feel like this isn't safe, this isn't safe. If you're in your personal Merkaba, no problem, easy peasy, you're covered. Okay, really important. I always teach this work in a way that I teach you how to ground it afterwards. I teach you how to be in a space where you are so protected, you know, so supported as you do this work, not only by me, but by your guides and your God self, so that you can do this work in integrity and not bring back with you any disruptions or distortions. So important, because sometimes when I do see people teaching this work, they're not putting these protocols in. That's a big no-no, okay? We gotta be safe when we do this work. It's so important, because there's a lot of sneaky effers out there who want to mess with our personal energy, because our personal energy is so tasty. And we are like a resource that can be plundered by entities, attachments of lesser integrity. We never want to make ourselves open to be hosts for that, correct? Who's with me on that one? Give me some hearts if you're feeling me on that. So it's really important to be in the highest integrity as you do this work. You know, yes, we're playing here, but, you know, I always make the analogy, like, yeah, when my husband, when he goes mountain biking, he's playing too, but he wears a helmet, he wears elbow pads, and he wears knee pads, right? You got to protect yourself. You got to make sure that those protocols are in place. Super duper important. And, you know, this is also a good reminder that, you know, that spiritual hygiene is so good that you only want to work with people who teach this work from a place of, you got to have good boundaries, good spiritual hygiene when you do this stuff, okay? So, does that make sense what I was saying? That, you know, anytime you're thinking about what you are not, which is completely false, by the way, because if you have the thought about some other, even if it's a fantasy, even if it's a daydream, even if it's a fleeting thought of, wouldn't it be nice to buy that pickup truck that I want? Or wouldn't it be nice to just go on that trip? Or wouldn't it be nice to find my soulmate? The second you think of that, this is your power as a powerful creator being. This is the power that you have at your fingertips. You are creating a potential timeline then. You're opening that time window. And to the degree then that you place your focus, your attention, not your attachment, because that's from an ego self, but your focus, your attention, and your behaviors, your attitudes, your beliefs, your opinions, when you start to focus it more on that timeline, you'd be surprised at how fast some manifestations can start having a snowball effect in your life that are leading you towards that eventual desired outcome. Because if you desire it, which is basically like launching a cannon of an intention. Desire is a really important thing. And anyone who's ever told you that, you know, your desires, they're too big, or you're too big for your britches, or who do you think you are to have that? Don't ever believe that. That's part of the false paradigm of, you know, keeping us in this nice little box, this identity of who we are. That is not fucking real, pardon my French, okay? Unless you believe it is, and unless you act on the fact that it is. So if you want a different reality, how willing are you to believe that that reality is possible? And to be honest, folks, now we are moving into a place where we are creating at the speed of thought. I say this all the time. I say this in all my programs. I say this to you guys in here in our group. We are creating at the speed of thought. So with that in mind, do you believe that your thoughts, if they are aligned with your true heart's desire, have the ability to create a snowball effect and keep kind of gaining momentum and gaining this kind of perpetual movement towards that ultimate desired outcome? Do you believe that? Yes or no? Do you believe that we're moving through, especially now, and some of you have said in here that you do have this different experience of time. So what does that tell you? Do you think that's just there for no reason? Or do you think that's meant to be part of our collective wake-up call here that, yeah, things are bigger than we thought they were, and things aren't what we thought they were. And that's a good thing, because we have an opportunity to work with different potentials now, okay? It's okay, Mary, it'll be in here, and I'm also going to put this up in my YouTube channel. And I'm also going to put this up in our Time Benders group. So we have a Facebook group of support for everyone in the Timelines Expanded Masterclass. There's 59 members in there right now. It's called Time Benders and Timeline Healers. So we have that group where we have a forum. We can talk about stuff in the classes, and we can, anyone who's in the self-study program is welcome in there, and they can share stuff about what they're experiencing. So I forgot what I was saying. Can anyone help me? Can you tell how excited I am when I talk about this stuff? It's just like, I want to talk about all the things because I love it so much, and it's just so incredibly powerful to help us move through our life here on earth. But I think what I was saying is we wouldn't be having a different experience of time if that didn't mean something. If that wasn't like some cosmic breadcrumb. It's like, hey guys, start looking at the bigger picture here, or start reevaluating what, the nature of reality and what you thought that was, right? This is all part of the cosmic trail of breadcrumbs that we're getting, like, yeah, it's bigger than you thought, folks. So how willing are you to play with these new realities? How willing are you to play with these new potentials? How willing are you to believe that your life could actually be entirely different than it is right now in a week, 2 months, a year? Because what is time anymore? It's really relative, okay? And we are creating at the speed of thought. So our manifestations and the buffer time between having a thought and the physical manifestation showing up in the reality realm, that buffer time is collapsing. Okay, that is happening. Don't believe me? Today, tomorrow, sometime this weekend, ask the universe to show you, something, a color of a car. I want to see as many blue cars as possible. Okay, something benign and something you're not attached to. This is a good, way. It's like, don't go out and ask, like, show me 36 million lottery win by Sunday night. Ask for something you're not attached to. And you can prove it to yourself. Universe, show me as many blue butterflies, sure, use that too. Blue cars, yellow cars, today or the next hour or whatever, and see what happens. Hi, Abigail. See what shows up, okay? We are creating at the speed of thought. To the degree that you want to believe in that and play with that is entirely up to you, but the outcomes, the possibilities, the potentials are infinite and endless, okay? And the things that show up, don't get too attached to seeing the same kind of things show up over and over again, because that's an attachment to what has been. That kind of keeps your thought forms in a low vibration, in the sense that you're tied to the lower hubs of 3D consciousness, that anything that could show up has to be reminiscent of what you've already seen, already known, okay? We have to train ourselves and practice with thinking beyond like that attachment, that it's got to look like this, or it has to be like that, or it's to show up then. No. Why put yourself in that box when you're a creator being and you're moving into 5D? Why relegate yourself to those, contracted reality? So let go of outcomes and have a curious sense of expectation. Like, I wonder what this is going to look like when it shows up. Immediately you've detached. Immediately you're moving into the sense of curiosity, and you're creating something that's called an affirmation instead of an affirmation. Because an affirmation uses a positive statement to, let's just say, put you in the sense of, I'm going to have this, or I'm manifesting this or that. When you state it in an affirmation, which is, I wonder what this is going to look like. I wonder what this is going to feel like. I wonder how much money is going to show up. Asking a question kind of allows the subconscious mind to not attach to outcomes and to not attach itself to what has been. And it allows the ego personality to kind of pull back a little bit and kind of sit and ponder that one while you can do your, let's just say, work as a 5D avatar, creating a reality that's never been before. Boom. Okay? So these are good tips. This is gold that I'm giving you here, guys, and it's all free. So I hope you love it. So think about something that maybe has been on your mind. Some potential that you would like to create for yourself. Maybe it's a skill set that you don't currently possess, but you would like to. Maybe it is a career opportunity. Maybe it's a chunk of money. Maybe it's a car. Maybe it's a way of being where you are not acting from a trauma response anymore. Maybe something happened to you in your life where you're living out a personal identity and a personal reality from this trauma response, and you can't seem to pull yourself out of that. And maybe in your mind, many times you've imagined what would it be like to be this person that isn't constantly worried about someone hurting me physically or someone hurting me in a relationship, or something happening with your money story. Maybe you're good at manifesting money and then something happens and it goes away. What if you could imagine a scenario where you brilliantly manifest some money and you keep it? Okay. How would this affect you? What kind of person would you be? Again, let's play in this place without any sense of attachment. You're just having kind of a curious expectation, okay, rather than an attachment. You're curious about, what could that look like? Who could it be like? Maybe you are curious about a particular historical timeline. Maybe you've had inklings of being a priestess in ancient Egypt. Or, maybe you were a farmer and you had a very simple life and you lived off the land and you had a family and you had joy and there was no trauma. You just kind of lived your life and loved your life and it was simple. And maybe part of you is longing for simplicity in your life somewhere. It doesn't matter what it is. Understand that if you even have the thought about a counter reality that is in contrast, let's just say, to where you are right now, it's already created. It's already a potential. It's already out there. There's already a potential timeline waiting to be filled in with whatever you're going to fill that in. Okay. And, especially if you've had the idea before of, having, let's just say, sometimes I'll have dreams. I'll give you an example. And my husband has this too, where it's like a recurring dream and you keep going back to this point in history or this time, and you have a very vivid sense of this place in the world, and you know all the streets of this village. Maybe it's this cobblestone village built into a mountainside, and you know all the people there, and you know all the streets, and there's something about it that when you wake up, it's like, that's not just a dream. I lived there. I did something there. If you've ever had a dream like that, have you ever come away from that dream God, there's just a feeling that I get when I'm there. It just feels good. It just feels like I feel like home. Some people have dreams about crystal cities in the heavens and going back home to, to their family, to their soul family, to their, interstellar tribe of people. Maybe you have those dreams and you have a sense of I always feel good when I go back there. I get to visit everybody. I get to hang out. I get to tell stories about how freaking crazy everybody is down on earth. I get to do all kinds of fun stuff. Perhaps these are alternate realities that have a message for you. Perhaps there's something that can be reconciled for you in your now dominant timeline by reaching through this open time window and communicating with that alternate you. Okay? If you're getting excited, this is good. And the reason why you're excited is because you're remembering that you know how to do this. On a soul level, you know how to do this. I'm not teaching you anything here that you don't already know. I'm just helping you remember that you have the power to access this, okay? I'm just the vessel. I'm just helping with the information exchange here. But you already know how to do this. You already know how to, bring something in, or bring something out, I should say, from your inner reality that is already part of the all that is. And remember, you are an individuated thread of consciousness. Our ego personality teaches us that. But on your soul level of being, you're already part of the all that is. You are already all that which you are, which is the God self, the God goddess aspect, the infinite, the eternal. You are that. So what you're tapping into is just a small potential in everything that is, and everything that is, you are already a part of. Okay? So that's why this is really playing. And this is why having kind of a sense of wonder and a sense of innocence when you do this work and that you're playing is really important. And our guides, our galactic teams on high are always trying to help us remember. It's important to have a sense of play. Things feel very hard and very serious sometimes, but when we're doing this work, yes, you want to have all those protection protocols in place, but you want to have a sense ultimately of a healthy curiosity, a what if type mentality without attachment. And God, I'm just playing here with all these infinite potentials. Isn't this fun? Because that's who you are ultimately on a soul level. Do you guys get that? All right. So think of something that you would like to connect with here. Think of a potential reality that maybe has been in the back of your mind or maybe in the front of your mind. Think of a skill set that you would like to have that you don't currently have, okay? Because in some other parallel timeline, you are experiencing the contrast of that. Universal law dictates that that is so, because there's always a counterbalance and a counter exchange of energy through everything, throughout the entire fabric of the universe. Doesn't matter what star system, galaxy you're in, this is true, because that's an immutable universal law, okay? Or maybe you've had this feeling like, you've done, you've been, you've felt, or you've known something that you haven't experienced in this lifetime, or in this particular timeline, I should say, but has always given you this feeling like, I've done that before though. I've been there before. Call it in. What do you want? Whatever you want to play with here, it's completely open to you and what you want to do, okay? So now I want you to, hopefully you have some water. And just go ahead and connect with your body in space and time. What I mean by that is, I want you to connect with the breath, because when you connect with the inhale and the exhale, you're connecting with your body in time. So just go ahead and do that. Take a couple beats, a couple breaths, and just connect with your body in time. And as you continue with that repetition of the inhale and exhale, and just feel your body gently relax into the space that you're in. Go ahead and close your eyes. And as you connect into your body in space, I want you to feel the chair that you're sitting on. I want you to feel the temperature of the room that you're in. I want you to connect with the sound of my voice guiding you through this experience. So now you're connecting your physical body in time and space. You have to have a recognition and an awareness of where you are in order to move beyond it, okay? So I want you to I'm going to give you a really quick and easy version of what I do in the Timelines Expanded Masterclass here, but a very tangible experience of what this feels like. So go ahead and call in your God self, your higher self, your highest level of self, whatever feels comfortable. And I want you to call in all threads of consciousness, all threads and timelines, chords of you where your awareness, your consciousness is off playing in contrasting timelines or experiences. Call all those threads back into your heart space now. And you can see them maybe as like light filaments, just kind of calling them all back home into the heart. Collecting all pieces of you so you are in your entirety of wholeness in this space. I want you to imagine a column of 12D crystal and diamond light. Imagine that above your head, kind of showering down over you in like a spiritual power wash, washing through all of your physical body and just cleansing anything that is out of alignment, anything that is dark, heavy, dense, tight or tense, physically, emotionally, spiritually, or mentally. And just allowing this light to give you kind of a spiritual power wash and taking this all the way down through the body, through all the layers of the earth, and down into the crystalline core. And asking Mother Earth to transmute these energies. And so it is. Thank you. And now I want you to bring in the pranic breath. So I want you to simultaneously imagine the top of this column of light and the crystalline core of Mother Earth. And I want you to connect with those two spaces simultaneously. And as you take your next inhale, I want you to imagine pulling from both of those directions simultaneously. And as you exhale, exhale into the heart and out. Imagine the energy emanating out from the heart, either in a sphere around you or in a pulsing column of light around you, it doesn't matter. And do that again, inhaling from above and below simultaneously, a little quicker now, and then exhaling into the heart and out. And imagine as you exhale, you are expanding. Your awareness, your consciousness of the all that is all expanding out, reaching out. And do this one more time, breathing in from above and below as you inhale and exhaling out from the heart. And this time expand that energy out even further. Imagine sending your awareness out, way out into the universal energy matrix of the all that is, into the tapestry of universal time matrix. Connecting way out. Now I want you to connect back in with your heart space. And I want you to imagine a 3D pyramid of light. And right now it's a beautiful, like purple, blue, white light with the pyramid point facing up. And it's spinning now. Could be either clockwise or counterclockwise, doesn't matter. And from the heart space, another equal triangle, now pointing downwards with the point of this triangle pointing downwards. And to whichever direction that original triangle point is spinning, this downward pointing pyramid is spinning counter to that. And this one's got a little bit of purple and blue, but there's a little green and white in there too. This is your personal Merkaba. You can ask any and all guides present here, or your God self, to help you fully activate the protection sphere of this Merkaba, however you say it. Ask them to activate all the navigation controls to help you find this highest and best, most desired timeline that is showing you or giving you a message from your desired state of reality, so that you can arrive at this time window to view this timeline seamlessly, effortlessly, and with all protection protocols in place, protecting any and all energy fields, any energy bodies of you, so that you may bring back information, messages, without disruption, distortion, or tampering. And so it is. Thank you. And as you breathe with each repetition of inhaling and exhaling, I want you to imagine this Merkaba getting bigger and bigger so that it outsizes your physical body. And you can make it as big or as little as you like after that, but it is meant to outsize and encase your physical being. So as soon as you see that, just settle into that and get used to this space, get used to this feeling. Feel how protected and supported you are. You are seen, you are known, you are loved. And it's just nice to be in this space, isn't it? And now go ahead and focus on that desire. Maybe it is a skill. Maybe it's an experience that you don't have in this lifetime, but you've always kind of had that nagging feeling that you've done it before, you've had this experience before, you've been this person before. Or maybe you want to connect into a time where you don't feel separation. You want to connect into a time where you feel more at home, connected to yourself. Maybe this open time window is an opportunity or an invitation, really, for you to glimpse this part of self that you can now call home to you, into wholeness. And I want you to feel the gentle movement now of this Merkaba acting as your starship, your navigation vessel, kind of gently picking you up. Like you're on a landing platform now and you're gently just being picked up and you're being guided. And if you're to look all around you, you see a grid, intersecting, interconnecting lines of light. What you're viewing is the universal time matrix, the organic ascension matrix in its integrity, meaning there are no false distortions or inserts here that create disruptions in your energy, that are bringing in false energy or false messages. You are working with the organic ascension timeline and universal energy matrix. So feel safe as you navigate. And your Merkaba, as you create this desire, it's being fueled by your desire to glimpse through this time window and ultimately see this parallel reality. Just be aware of, and don't be attached to, I'm going too fast or I'm going too slow. You're being led through your own desire as the fuel for this viewing to the place you need to be. And it's a place in time, quote unquote. It's a place where an experience, an event, a situation is taking place. Where are you being projected to from this inner desire? The inner creator being in you is setting forth this path of navigation. Be confident that you're taken in this space, right here and now, to exactly where you need to go. Just allow, without trying to force anything here. Where are you going? What does it look like? Are you being led to maybe something that looks like a window? It could be like a sliding glass door. It could be like a window that opens from the side or from the top. It could be a door. Just noticing, allowing, not trying to force anything here or make yourself see anything. And if you feel the ego personality trying to jump in the driver's seat here, just say, hey, ego, we got this. Thanks very much. I'll let you in on all this later, but for now, let me and my God self work the navigation of this experience. Just notice what you're seeing. And maybe you're seeing, as you approach this door or this window or this column or tube of light, maybe you're seeing lights or images or people in this tunnel or this timeline, this container of experience that you're glimpsing in remote viewing here. Again, just noticing, having a healthy curiosity about what you're seeing. What are you being shown? Is there a person that's coming to help you? Is there a particular color or light? Are you hearing a sound? Do you smell something? Ask that you take good mental notes and that your subconscious has full recall of this when you come out of this experience, so that you may journal it and fill in the blanks and maybe create a narrative from the message that comes in here. Are you connecting with that alternate you? And if not, ask gently, show me this alternate version of myself exploring this experience, having this skill, being this person, living this lifetime. What are you being shown? Who are you being shown? What do you look like? Ask that this alternate version of you makes contact with you, meaning he or she, or it, knows you're there and is aware of you, and that you are here to communicate and create a connection with each other. Don't rule out the opportunity that perhaps you have something to impart to this version of yourself as well. Maybe this version of you is asking for some level of information that you possess that he or she does not. Let it be an exchange if it feels that way. Either way is contributing to wholeness within you overall. And maybe you're just getting a sensing, or maybe you're physically asking, can you show me how? Fill in the blank. Can you show me what needs to be? Fill in the blank. And just take that information in and understand that you may not have a real-time communication here. If you are having some sort of resistance within you that this can't be real, or I'm imagining it, so you're dismissing it in some way, you may not be in full integrity with this communication. So ask that during dream time tonight, maybe you download the fullness of this communication or this message, etc., whenever you are in a place of least resistance to receive it. But take a deep breath into your heart right now. Roll your shoulders back. This is a gesture of receiving. Put yourself in that place where you're physically able to receive. Ask the ego to take a back seat so you are mentally able to receive. Feel yourself a worthy soul being so that you allow yourself to receive. Even if the information seems too big, or you can't handle it, or this can't possibly be for me, or I can't do this. Let go of those attachments. They don't exist. They're illusory. They're not real, and they never have been. And just notice the overall feeling of this space. Because remember, we don't know or rationalize or intellectualize our way into higher dimensional reality. We feel our way into these reality realms. It's all about feeling. So connect fully with what you're feeling right now. Ask it to expand so that you feel it in all parts of your body. Or if there's a part in your body that is particularly tingly right now, what is that? We're going to begin closing out this energy here. So you can thank this alternate version of you. You can ask that if there is any additional wisdom that this being may impart to you and you can bring back with you, simply ask for that now. maybe a puzzle piece that you've been looking for, or a feeling that you can download that you haven't been privy to in this lifetime experience yet, that you feel would benefit you now. It's okay to ask for that. Just don't attach to it. And fully thanking this being for their experience in communication and being willing to share. And I want you to send a blast of love out from your heart space to this alternate version of you. And this alternate version of you, you feel that exchange as they do the same. And now I want you to take a deep breath in. And I want you to imagine pulling yourself back inside your Merkaba, your star navigation ship, and going back to the landing dock where you left from. And I want you to take another deep breath now and imagine collapsing this Merkaba inside your heart. And now I want you to imagine taking one final deep breath in and collapsing that 12D column of light, that diamond crystalline light from above, taking this through the entirety of your physical being, down through all the layers of the earth, into the crystalline core, and collapsing this into the heart of Mother Earth. And saying, I'm so grounded, I'm so grounded, I'm so grounded in this energy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. And now I want you to connect with your body in space and time again. Take a deep breath in. Feel the temperature of the room that you're in. Go ahead and open your eyes. Your vision's gonna be a little fuzzy here. That's totally normal because you went out there. So it may take a minute, but you'll get it back. Focus on something in the room that is either a plant or some wood, not your computer, but something that is, naturally made. This will help you connect back into the earth. So if you have a plant in your room, or even, a wood border or a wood door, anything like that is good. You'll also want to connect and ground yourself with some water. Drink a big glass of water after this. This is so awesome. I'll do one. Oh, good. I'm glad you didn't do this while you were driving. That would be very bad. I'm remiss about, putting in that disclaimer, but I will put that in the YouTube video, and I'll also put it in the title of this post. So anyone who would like to share, I'm more than happy to see what you experienced. If you want to share any of that, or if you just say, hey, I like that, or hey, I didn't like that, I'll take that in as well. So, like I mentioned, this is kind of a blending of two different things that we do in Timelines Expanded Masterclass. So this is an exercise in merging timelines, and this is also an exercise in kind of quantum jumping time, because you're working with an alternate version of you, not necessarily a future version of you, which is what we do when we quantum jump time in the class, but you're working with just an alternate version of you to bring in or glean some of that wisdom that part of you has. Or maybe, some of you have felt like there's something in me that's not complete. There's something in me that feels like I feel separate, I feel separate from everybody out there. And that's only an ever a projected illusion from something in our inner reality that says we are separate within. We are broken off from something that makes us feel whole within, okay? Because we think of outer reality, but everything that we experience as outer reality is a projection from what is within. Energy, consciousness, all of it, the God self, all of it is projected from the point of stillness within. And that is why it's a pervasive illusion here in 3D that's really hard to break ourselves from the habit of being in, right? Thinking that everything that we see is really illusory reality in 3D. it's hard to break from that. And it is an addiction, you know, it's habituation, but it's an addiction, and it's hard to break from that. But when you work with this dimensional space and you play in these realms a lot more, you realize, well, you know, maybe this is just as real as, you know, my waking everyday reality. I'm out of practice with working with this, but I'm remembering. It's so important to keep it as a mantra for yourself that, you know, I'm constantly remembering more of who I really am. This can be a really powerful affirmation statement for yourself if you know, use it every day. So I can't see. This is so awesome. I'll definitely do it. I'm not driving. I love that. Totally. I use the questions technique a lot. Abigail says yes. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to leave it here for now because we've been going over an hour. But for those of you who would, you know, like to watch this and do this again, I am going to upload this to my YouTube channel. If this really piques your interest in Timelines Expanded Masterclass, we're going to be starting again the first week of February 2021. The reason I'm getting the word out on this now is so that, you know, those of you who keep saying, God, I want to take your course, but I can't, you know, I don't have the money saved or whatever, you got plenty of time to figure it out. You're getting basically 2 months before the price goes up the first week of December. There will still be a payment plan in place, but you can get in now and start getting your feet wet with this material right now. And you're already then pre-enrolled for when we start live in February. And for anyone who's watching this and you want to give a little mini testimonial because you're already in Timelines Expanded Masterclass of how it's worked for you or what's changed for you, I welcome you to do that. So I hope this was fun, you guys. Thanks for all of you who joined me live. It's been a real blessing to bring this work to you, and I want to wish you so much love and peace. Bye-bye.